The terrors of tripping on pop.
Be there! Scour the spaceways! Explore vast alien worlds!
This tin right here contains the whole rigmarole.
I used to smoke about an ounce of hash every day.
Good.
And it made me go a little bonkers.
Maybe if I occupy his mind with more duties, I can control his space.
Hi.
Big fat doobies.
Hi.
Hi, hello, welcome to the Hotbox. Today is Saturday, June 20th, 2020, episode 204, Hotbox.Earth. My name is Matt. This is Grand. What's up, Grand?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing this week?
Good, man. Good to be back. Another week. Got some news for everybody. Gonna give away this cap set, which I'm pretty excited for. It's kind of like a sampler platter, if you will. You know, it's like we got a nice directional, a ZB V2 clear. We got a nice spinner. We got a cool cold worked spinner that's a container, some tweezers, some pearls.
Oh,
a little bit of everything.
Ooh, I'm excited. How we doing this?
Rabbit out of a hat. No,
Rabbit
I
out
think
of a hat. Who's
as
got
soon
the
as,
rabbit?
As soon as Tooth is ready, he'll just throw it up there in the chat, and we'll mention it as soon as he posts it up. But just want to say thank you guys for all of the cookies there. When everyone taps that cookie, we had a lot of entries.
Absolutely, yes, we did. And we are doing this by random pick, so you guys are all getting put in a list, and Tooth is hitting a random number button, and that's who's going to win. Do we have a winner yet, Mr. Tooth of the Sweet?
Sir Tooth of Sweet.
Sir Tooth of Sweet.
Do you want to mention the dab bot before we pick a winner here?
Mention the dab bot.
Yeah, didn't you? We had enough donations and stuff from everybody to get the bot.
Oh, you know what? That is absolutely right. So, thanks to you all, we have actually had enough donations to buy a lifetime subscription to Dabbot, which means that is one last bill I have to pay for the server monthly, which is a very big burden off my shoulders.
It's like we're growing up and we're becoming self-sufficient, and we just got our first job at McDonald's, and we're like, we're not making a lot of money, but we're making money, which is more than we were doing before, so that's cool.
Right. So what we did is we saved up $100 from all of the donations, and that's what it costs for lifetime supply to Me 6. So we don't ever have to pay again for that. And before that, we had a $50 giveaway that we did with all our money from the giveaway from the donations. And next, with whatever amount of money we decide as the admins, we're going to buy something else, either from Matt or our other sponsor, Gary's Class Adventure, to give away back to you guys. Because that's what we want to do with this money, is we want to give it back to you guys. We don't pay ourselves, nothing like that. That's not how we roll.
Yeah, like once the server's taken care of, then it's all just money to go back into the community, which is pretty sweet.
Yep, to buy stuff for you guys, to do more giveaways.
Nice. Let's get into some patient questions. You work at a spot that you come into contact with some patients, not really people that are like professional dabbers, I guess, if there's such a thing, but like people that are starting out, and a lot of people don't really know the things that like the majority of us know, and the people that are in the chat right now, like we've gone through that whole thing, and we've learned, but there's still a whole part of the population out there that is still like, they don't even know dabs exist or terps or anything, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of science behind it that like kind of comes second nature to us because we've just been around it for so long and been talking about it because that's what we love to do every day. That some of these people are just kind of like, how does a banger supposed to work? Like, how is it actually supposed to work? Am I doing this wrong? Like, they don't even know if they're doing things right, or they're probably going in too hot and they don't even know that that's not how you do it. And
I know when I first started, I would just preheat my oven to broil, and then I'd get a cookie sheet and I'd put my banger on the cookie sheet and I would just heat it up in the oven.
Just get a knife red hot, put it in like a glass jar, put it in there, and then just...
Oh, yeah. And before that, it was we were heating up knives on the stove.
That's right.
Looks like we have a winner. for the giveaway.
Uh-oh.
We'll circle back to that before we get into Grant's questions. Congratulations, Kool-Aid's guy. Super stoked. You got yourself a. I love the usernames. It's so dope.
Looks like you got yourself a set of cats and AIDS.
Well,
so there's that.
good luck with that. Yeah, so congratulations, Kool-Aid's guy. Thanks for participating. And yeah, DM me after the show, and I'll get your shipping info, and we'll send it out to you.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much for participating. There will be more giveaways. We can promise you that.
Yeah, like in a couple weeks, we'll present the next one.
We'll figure it out.
So what was the context for these questions? Are these like people you deliver to, or people like where did these questions come from?
Well, yes, it's a patient that I delivered to who I don't want to say he's new to dabbing, but like he's been dabbing, like he's just kind of interested in the science behind it, kind of like how we were when we first started, you know, kind of like when we first joined this Discord, trying to look for more information, stuff like that.
Right.
He just had a few kind of basic questions that I really wanted your guys' opinion on, and your opinion too, Matt, because I wasn't really sure how to answer it. One, because I didn't use one of the pieces he was talking about, and two, because I really didn't even know the science behind it, and I think you might even know the science behind it. So we'll start with the first question that he had. It's with egg bangers, you know, kind of like an egg-shaped banger with like a rounded bottom, you know what I mean? Gaining in popularity.
To be honest, I had no idea what those were until just now when I Googled it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never seen these before.
See, I've at least seen those though. It's like an egg with like the top kind of cut off, so it's kind of like keeps the stuff in there a little bit. But apparently, with egg bangers gaining popularity, I'm curious if they were much better.
Don't say that.
That wasn't my wording. That was his wording.
They're not gaining in popularity.
Okay, well,
unless hold on. Now, if we got Dab Dads in the chat, if Dab Dads, do you have an egg banger? Because if he does, then they may be gaining in popularity. If you look at his logo, he is the Custy of the group. One of many.
He thought we meant a Fabergé egg rig.
Oh no, it's can you throw a link to that in the chat there? I just Googled it, and Pulsar Vaporizers is the first one that came up. It's obviously a Chinese version of it, which whatever. But it's weird shaped. It reminds me of like the old Puke and Beagle thermal peas. Like it's a jacket with a jacketed banger basically. That picture is different than the one I'm looking at. The one I'm looking at, it looks like a jacketed banger, but instead of like a nice bucket, there you go. The second link there. That's like, what is that?
That first one, I think, is the one that he was kind of talking about. That almost looks like old school crackhead style, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, that
second one's kind of cool, though.
Is it though?
I think it's just the function behind it. You know what I mean? It's meant more to like spin a little bit.
No, you literally just take away surface area by making it shaped differently. Like there's no reason that couldn't just be a regular jacketed bucket, except that's already been done. So they're trying to differentiate or whatever.
A little bit different.
Yeah,
I don't think there would be anything mechanical or scientific wise that would make it anything better.
I could see maybe all of the space around it, like if you're heating the bottom and then you're heating the sides, like you're not transferring all of that heat to the middle part where I assume the dab goes in, but then you're using that like just the fact that the outside is heated like as an insulation or something. But as people are saying in the chat, it looks fucking gross and terrible. And
Too Sweet says banging meth rocks. Vince says those both look terrible.
Now if we're dabbing DMT, no, maybe I want something that's more bulb shaped. You know, I don't know. I usually just use a banger when I.
I think it's a new record, guys. How far are we into the show? 11 minutes, and it's already time for the
disclaimer. Everyone should dab DMT on a banger. Where did your friend hear this?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you need to do some follow up and see what Discord he's hanging out on that these are gaining popularity, and maybe we'll all go infiltrate it and show them the way.
I don't think he does Discord too much. I think he might just be more of the friends that he knows. Maybe I don't know. I've seen a little bit of this, but it's not really been too big in popularity. But I don't think there's any difference.
ever seen one of these in the wild or online until I just Googled it.
Is that how it is now? In the wild?
In the wild, yep.
Oh, jeez.
Have you ever seen one of these in the wild? Limp Dick Murray, you ever seen one of these in the wild? And see,
he's not in here, but
the dabberry egg, that looks more like that first one you posted, where it is actually like a bulb-looking or an egg-looking shape without like a jacket, and that's definitely gonna change how it functions. Like if you're going for that jacketed banger, heat retention.
That heat retention.
That's what they say too. These efficient design with premium quartz, perfect for low temp dabs, heat retention, and less waste. Just really hitting all of those buzzwords one after another. I bet the SEO bots love this, and you know they do because it was #1 when I Googled it. So
DIY Dab says, "I like the Cadbury eggs."
I like under highlights here. It says 100% premium quartz glass. Is it quartz or is it glass? Because now I'm confused. It also says thermal egg design. Use with or without a carb cap. Oh my god.
Please use a carb cap for the love of God.
I mean, and don't use these also.
I would just use a regular banger. I mean, I don't think it's going to improve performance at all, but I think that's a good way to leave this one and move on to the next question.
Deadman Caravan says overrated crack banger. I believe that is the consensus.
Okay, so that's our judgment. Overrated crack banger?
Yes.
Is the hammer down?
Egg banger?
Down.
Oh, you mean overrated crack banger?
Okay. Well, his second question was, recently I have been getting a little different material, and when I dab, there's black burning that appears in the banger that normally isn't there with normal quality wax. I think he's been getting a little bit lower quality wax from a source which may or may not have been a Discord that I know. I mean, a dispo that I know.
On.
But he was curious, what would that be? Is that leftover plant matter that's burning in the banger, or
without really, it's definitely not butane. Butane boils at like colder than room temperature. So unless you like are freezing your dabs, like there's no butane left in them. If there was, it would just like vaporize instantly as soon as that temperature warmed up because it has such a low boiling point.
Right, that it would just go instantly.
Like 36. I was looking this up yesterday. 30.2 degrees Fahrenheit is butane's boiling point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So pretty much the freezing point of water is the boiling point of
yeah,
butane.
There's no way you're having... Well, this is Fahrenheit, but yeah. Or yeah, 32F. Right. Yeah, you're right. So whenever people are like, oh, there's probably butane left in it, like, unless you live in Alaska, like, there's no butane left in it, you guys. Trust me. Like, trust me.
Okay. Well, what do you think that would be, though, left over in the banger? Do you think that would be, like, plant material?
Without seeing, like, how hot they're dabbing it and how their technique is, my first guess is that they're just doing it too hot and doing too much of it, and then they're, like, heating the shit out of it again to maybe get the rest of it, which is causing even more of that black char. Or they are getting not very good dabs, and it's something that's probably like, I don't know, between 50 to 60% total cannabinoids when you test it. Versus like something nicer that's going to be in the higher like 70s to 80s to 90s.
Let's assume that he's dabbing like let's assume it's me. I'm dabbing on an e-nail at 580 degrees every single time, and as long as I Q-tip it up, nothing really burns to the insert. But this time when I put it in, it does. Do you think that would be like plant material? Yeah, then it's got to be some sort of like contamination in the dabbing material, the dab itself. Right. Okay, yeah, that was what I thought. Something that's burning probably like chlorophylls or, I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be like fats and waxes really, because they don't tend to really burn black like the actual plant material, like you got a piece of a stem or a leaf or, something like that in there that's just going to completely burn up. But that was my thought, is it would actually be the chlorophyll probably. Now, is this the stuff that you were dabbing on last week? Because did that like just chest the shit out of your banger? Was it you that had the really boofy looking shit last week that we gave you a hard time for? My memory show to show is just not very good. Yes, it is. It was you. But it even looks a little bit green, so. Well, there's your answer. I mean, yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but at the same time, I mean, it really wasn't their fault. But I was curious about what that was. But he has one more question too, which I pretty much know the answer to, and hopefully we can get to this real quick.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Another driver is always talking about leaving his wax with the lid off to let it turn to crumble. I'm curious if you're degrading the potency or anything about it, or if you could be letting the butane evaporate, making it healthier.
Well,
I think we all know the answer to this.
Yeah, going back to what we said earlier, like there's no butane in it for sure.
Right.
The only reason it's turning to crumble is because crumble has like very few terps in it. If crumble had a bunch of terps in it, it wouldn't be crumble, right? To get that
It's all
dried out
consistency.
honeycomb crumble look, you're basically putting it on a hot plate and just whipping the fuck out of it. And that's
You're oxidizing
gassing
it.
out all of the terps, with the heat also helping to gas out those terps. And then, yeah, you're just cooking out all of like anything that could give it any sort of viscosity until it's just like basically powder. But you can make molds or however you're getting your form out.
It's pretty much the natural life cycle of wax too. If you let the air get to it, it's going to oxidize a little bit faster and go from shatter to butter to crumble to sugar. It's just what it does. The terps and the THC kind of separate out a little bit, as the terpenes are kind of a volatile.
Crumble's
substance.
probably the last stop on that train. Like your
Would you
sugar
say
and
so?
your sugar and your butters are pretty much the same. I would say what people tend to call sugar just has less terps than what they tend to call butter or batter. And
I'll
so
agree.
you're
I'll
getting
agree.
more of that like crystal structure rather than just a soupy, saucy, like,
Or just
blob.
dry crumble.
Yeah. And then once you dry that down and get those terps out, then, you're left with like maybe some pull and snap. And then if you fucking cook those terps out, like then it's like crumble. But
Right. Mr. Matt, you know what time it is almost?
is it time for a dab? Oh, it's 1:20.
It is 4:19 at my time. So in 30 seconds, guys, it's time for a dab. I want you all to dab with me.
I'm kind of jealous that you're in the time zone that makes 4:20 when we do the show. It's it's 1:20 here. That literally means nothing to me.
It is 4:20, and you know what? We have something new that we want to try with you guys. So while we dab, we want you to hear from Mr. Tooth Sweet himself. He's actually going to talk, believe it or not,
As he leaves the chat.
as he leaves the chat.
Oh, that's
All right,
amazing.
Mr. Matt, you ready? You got your bowl ready?
Yeah.
It's 4:20, guys. Dab up.
I'm not dabbing, but I got this flower
Smoke
pot
up, dab up. Let's do it, guys.
smoking.
This episode of The Hot Box is brought to you by Gary's Glass Adventure. Go to garysglassadventure.com and check out his shop for any of your dabbing needs. Gary's Glass has quality German quartz and bangers of all sorts. They come in all sizes, 10, 14, and 18 millimeter. Also available are quality ruby pearls and rigs from a variety of artists. Again, that's garysglassadventure.com. Use promo code R/dabs710 to get 10% off your order. This episode is also brought to you by Sweet Piece of Glass. Spog is an amazing website with lots of great pieces and a large assortment of accessories from artists like Chappelle Glass, Unlimited Glass, and Glassmith. Quartz by Jake Miser and J Red Glass. There's almost nothing you can't find from Spog. Matt always takes care of his customers, and if you're in the Discord, he'll often give you a deal. So join the Discord and check out his shop to pick out your very own functional piece of art. He can be found at sweetpieceofglass.com and in the Discord.
Oh, that's nice. That's just enough time to get a dab and some bong hits in. And I
It
gotta
is.
say, some of you were with us when we made that. We made that beat in the background on the fly. Tooth had to do. I don't want to be aggressive, but I would say some pretty severe copy editing on what you wrote for the ad copy, which is my bad for not getting to writing the ad copy, because I guess me and Tooth are the writers of the group. So
I want
I
to
left
say
you hanging,
and put a
and I'm
disclaimer
sorry.
out there that I smoked a little too much weed in high school and didn't pay attention to English class. So
that's
hey,
cool.
it's out there.
I
It's
feel
out
you.
there.
I
Okay,
feel you.
I'm sorry. I'm trying now, but it's
No judgment.
if any of you who've seen it, it's not great. It's not great. I speak American.
It was not bad.
It was not great. It was not great.
Well, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. If I had to give an award to like most run-on sentences in a paragraph I've ever read in my life,
It was a paragraph. I thought it was all just one sentence.
Well, that's a good point. I think my word editor was like, "The fuck is this? Hold up, here, let me."
God damn.
Let's get into some RDABS stuff. We are the official Discord for the RDABS subreddit, so every week we like to go through and find some things that caught our eye. Post by Earth to James got a new piece. Pretty cool design there. I like those kind of laid back recycler designs that you get a 45 in there, a nice perk at the bottom. It does look
really nice. I like that it kind of goes around the bottom of the banger and the tube going down into it. It looks like it would just be really cool to use.
I like in the comments that somebody recognized the inside of his car and was like, that's a Genesis. I recognize the inside of a Genesis. And then dude answers, hey, you know your cars. That's pretty fucking awesome.
That's hilarious. I recognize the inside of a Genesis. That's funny.
Dead Man
That is a nice ring, though.
Caravans.
I like the color, actually. I'm not a big fan of orange, but I like that. And the perk in there looks really nice, too. Like a nice kind of donut style with 4 holes. Looks like maybe.
Yeah, 4 or 5 probably. It depends. It looks like the same like puck perks that Imperial Glass has in his candy bottles. He's got like that nice perk, and Eric Wichman also uses that in some of his work. They're really nice. They have like the disc with the holes on the sides, so it spreads the water outward. It's a good perk.
Yeah.
It's a damn good perk. Do we know who made this piece? It doesn't look like anyone answered in the comments.
Yeah, I think it might have been a China Shop special, to be honest.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, you can't see the welds and stuff up close or feel how thick it is, but you know, if you only
that
got,
would be a really big one.
If you only got $50 or $100 to spend, and you don't want,
it's not a bad thing.
That's not bad. As long as you're dabbing on something that's not like silicone and stuff. Unless you break your stuff, then maybe you need a silicone rig. I don't know.
Yeah, or if... I can't say that. Or if you're traveling and you have to medicate on the go.
Well, I think then you would you would get like a peak or something. I do want to give a little attention here. Dab Dad's in the chat just posted one of his new scoops. Is that a Ram? I think I saw, if that's the one on his page. Yeah, Ram. Dude, that is fucking sweet. I would lose the Black Evan banger. I know you like those. I'm not a fan, but that is a dope rig.
We need to make sure we can just see if we can get that into the YouTube video. That is really sick. Is that like a whole set too? That is awesome.
And now I understand why you don't want to invest in our group. Makes sense. Sorry guys, I was gonna invest, but this Ram piece became available. I don't blame you. That's a dope fucking piece, dude.
It's got the one of the Egyptian symbols on the back too. That's so awesome. Oh my god, the work on that.
Yeah, you better post that up in the Dabs Reddit so we can throw a link to it. That's pretty fucking badass.
Absolutely. Do that and then send a DM to us. That's sick, man. That cap, too, that bubble cap, that looks really nice. Just a nice, simple bubble. Oh, I love little bubbles.
Yeah, Ram Solo stuff is dope. I am a big fan of his big collab gun pieces that he makes. Like those things with the dual valve in it, so like you can pull and then you just blow right out, and it has like a one-way valve that plugs, and then the smoke comes out of like the muzzle suppressor or whatever. Those things. Yeah, that's Ram Nicholson.
I've seen those. Those are sick.
Those aren't like really solos though. Like he does that with probably like 5 to 10 other people, I would say. Like they're big. It's like a full size gun, you know, like they're pretty intense.
You know what else is intense?
Campers.
Well,
campers are
you got me there.
Intense.
Yes, campers, but also the next Reddit poster, Brown Polka, says it's intense being able to walk into a store and buy weed, and it's always been a fantasy of his. And it still have to pinch himself sometimes when he walks in and buys it legally.
For real.
We've come a long way, and it just needs to be nationally legal now.
Yeah. Once you can open it up from East Coast to West Coast and all the states in between, and you can, like, that's when we'll really know, like, what the full what the full possibility of this market is. You know, like we're barely. I mean, each state is feeding itself. Once you can get other states to feed other states, like the black market's been doing since it's been a thing. Like I think that's when it's really going to blow up. Obviously,
Right?
Because
I do think it just needs to be legalized. It just,
re-legalized.
We've been fighting this for so long.
Re-legalized.
Re-legalized. That's absolutely correct. Because when did Prohibition start?
Sometime a long time ago by a man named Harry Anslinger because he was a
Harry
racist
Anslinger?
dickhead. That's the one I always go back to, like the very like first couple episodes of the Hot Box way back in like '08. We talked about like where Prohibition came from, and he was the name that kept popping up. Him and then Nixon, and then yeah. But him being guided by his fucking racism and shit, like it had absolutely nothing. I assume everyone here knows that, but it had absolutely nothing to do with like keeping people safe from dangerous drugs. It was literally all about being a racist dick. Like that.
I thought it had to do with the textile industry and
maybe
literally gonna take it over.
Yeah, I'm sure that was like some of it, but I guarantee it was more about racism than anything else.
Really? Why? Like, how would that have anything to do with racism?
Because like if you I don't know how to say this. If you want to like
definitely used against it.
Put down a group of people because you just don't like them or because you feel that they are inferior to you, you zero in on the things that those people do. And a lot of those people like to smoke weed. And so they're like, well, now weed's
yeah, but a lot
illegal.
of white people do too. I mean,
yeah.
Look at the 70s. Shit.
Yeah, but maybe that's where the different preferential treatment comes from. Like, I mean, it comes from racism, but like,
I definitely cannot disagree that there was racism used in it. Like, there are tons of cartoons and stuff like that full on show, like, you know, all of that crap that we have. We'll have none of that in the Discord. Don't any of you post that because we will instantly ban you. I hope you know that we do not tolerate any of that here, but it is out there, and they did use that as a tool. I do not deny that. I don't think it was the main cause, though.
You think textiles and shit were, and DuPont?
I don't know.
Reptiles?
Dude.
Textiles and reptiles,
don't you put me with those flat earthers.
Textiles and reptiles.
Sorry if you're a flat earther. But I mean, it makes a little bit more sense. Money.
Yeah.
I mean, the racism thing doesn't really make sense. I mean, that kind of is like saying that the government invented crack to help keep the black man down, which doesn't really make sense to me either.
Wait, yeah, they did. Isn't that what the CIA did in the projects, like the whole time?
I haven't seen it.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly.
I thought that was just some shit cooked up.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Is that real too?
I'm pretty sure that's legit.
Is that real?
I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure that whole crack epidemic was all fucking planned by the CIA.
You're kidding.
Dab
it's
Dad
real?
says they totally did Freeway Rick Ross. You know?
Well, fuck me, I guess.
So, you know, we're both a little right. We're both a little right. You're a little wrong.
A little more than you, but
I am also a little wrong.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, shit.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me given everything that's going on, but I mean, I had a little bit more faith in humanity. I guess we're the rare people. I do think it is cool though that like we are finally to a point where we can walk into stores and buy shit. Like just before the show, I was like, oh, almost out of weed. You know what? I didn't have to call up 8 homies and see who was holding and then like figure out where to meet and all this. Like I literally just went online, fucking made my order, waited for them to text me that my order was done, and then I drove to the store and bought my weed. Like I don't see why more states aren't doing this. It seems super simple. Right. Yeah, it is. It is starting to get nice.
And
again.
even think
Able to
of
go
like
out
the
with food.
people that are older than us. Like I'm almost 40. You're almost what, 30 or something?
yeah.
Like the people my parents' age and stuff, like they never thought this shit would ever be legal. Like it's got to
Right?
be so much more of a shock. Like cuz for us like it was always there and it wasn't never, and it depends on like how you grew up and stuff obviously, but it was never like this big bad thing because we always knew, or like it's just weed, you know, like it's
Right.
not a big crazy thing. But like people our parents' age, like they thought legit that it was something that would make you go out and like get crazy and kill people and everything, and like
yeah.
for them to come to terms with that and finally go a little bit the other way and realize that it's not at all like that, that's pretty sweet.
My dad's one of those who still hasn't come to terms with it and never will.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. So you just have to keep everything out of sight, out of mind for him. And that's why I live in my own house.
And that's why I don't live in their basement anymore.
You get enough motivation.
But yeah, it'll be even better to see like people in all the states be able to experience what that's like and not worry about if they're like buying fucking dabs online from a honeypot or if they're actually even gonna get real dabs or whatever.
Absolutely.
Like, just to be able to go into a store just like you're buying fucking cigarettes and beer and like get your fucking weed. It's pretty sweet.
Not only just for the people who want to relax after a day of work or just feel like they need it to kind of relax a little bit throughout the day, or the people who actually really medically need it because they have actual medical issues like anxiety or things like that, or hunger issues that will actually help them.
Hunger
So they don't have
Games.
to worry about it and talk to criminals, drug dealers, and stuff like that to get their medicine. You
And
can
I
get it from
mean-
a reliable source that's clean and tested.
They're not. I mean, yeah, some of them are criminals, like for sure, but a
Yeah,
lot of
yes.
them aren't criminals.
Yeah,
They're just like selling.
Not everybody is.
They're just selling weed. Granted, there is a lot in that circle that
But-
like are doing other shady shit, and
If
that
it is a black
criminal.
market and you are buying without a card in a medical state, or if it's not recreational, then it technically is a criminal
Right.
activity. So
Right.
you are doing. I mean, it's something that you shouldn't have to worry about at all.
Yeah,
Either one of you.
like when you go buy vitamin C at the fucking store, you're not like
Right.
asked for all your fucking papers and shit. Like you just
if
fucking
you go
give
buy a
them
bottle
money.
of alcohol, you show your ID. You're over 21, you can buy it and walk
Yeah.
home. Don't drink it and drive. Don't smoke and drive. It's the same thing. How is it any different? Unless you actually need a medical amount, which is dosed out by a doctor, or you know what I mean?
But what's a medical amount? I mean,
Well,
that's
I mean,
different for
I-
everybody. Like, you can't have one set of dosages that are like, okay,
Yep.
this is a
Absolutely
medical
you can.
amount.
Well, I mean, it's different for every person, so it needs to be dosed themselves.
Right.
But you need to be at a point where you can drive. But if like, let's take me for example, I have to have some type of THC or cannabinoid in my system to not have an anxiety attack to the point where I pass out and have a seizure. But I'm not driving high. I'm medicated all the time, but I'm not driving high out of my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
if
the
a cop
difference
pulls me over, he's
between-
not going to go, "Oh, you're high," because I'm not to that point.
Right.
I just have that little bit in my system that is going to make me okay. And
That's the
everybody
diff-
needs to find that equilibrium.
That's
though.
the difference between impairment and non-impairment, really. And it's good
Yeah,
to see like some states actually having to prove that rather than just be like, oh, you have this fucking random amount of THC in your system. I guess you're going to jail.
I think you can absolutely prove it by kind of the same thing as alcohol, a field sobriety test. Maybe not blowing in or like swabbing your mouth, because if you have active THC, there's going to be active THC. And like you said, some people have different tolerances. So whereas mine, because I dab all day, every day, so I'm used to smoking when I'm at home. So my tolerance level for being normal might be 10 times higher than somebody who just smokes a joint every now and then.
Yeah, you just have to know like what your limit is. Dab Dad says mine is a gram of Ross in an hour, and I drive on shrooms, so I'm probably a bad example.
It's like.
But are
the
you
beginning of our
impaired?
show. I smoke an ounce of hash a day.
Yeah,
Ounce
fucking
of hash. Wow, tongue twister.
Cottonmouth Kings over here.
Cottonmouth Kings. Fuck you.
They always used to brag about that shit. We smoke an ounce a day. Yeah, there's like
Ounce of hash a
18 of
day.
you. Of course you do.
Oh shit. Well, moving on to X Cool Breeze X. He has a whole ass gallon of 99% alcohol, and I had to say that because that's how it was written by our editor.
A whole ass gallon.
A whole ass gallon, and he's making fun of my English. Oh wait, he's French Canadian. Sorry.
That's pretty sweet, dude. They don't sell gallons where he's from. I think it's all liters. This
Ass
is 4
gallons.
whole ass liters.
Ass gallons. It's not just a gallon. It's ass gallons. We have to make sure we say it right.
Ass gallons.
Ass gallons.
So what is this for? Starting fires, probably cleaning some stuff.
3.84 liters for our people out there who don't use the correct system of measurements.
Yeah, but if you want to be real, it's 4 liters. It's just like how many grams are in a pound? Is it 454 or is it 447 or whatever? Like
that actually looks like it's from Home Depot, which I think Home Depot sells like kind of big gallons like that, kind of like they do mineral spirits. It's like 99% ISO. It's used for cleaning as a cleaning solution.
So,
and I believe it's the same thing.
Is there still a shortage? Is that why this is like such a big deal?
I think people are just kind of realizing that it was like they're in kind of the same thing. People are just used to seeing it in a medical form, in a medical setting, and they're only. And there was a big shortage. Don't get me wrong. Everybody was buying ISO, but I think people were kind of like, "Oh, but that's there." Shit.
DIY Dab says I was just at CVS and it's still empty. But that's the thing, right? That's why this has some relevance. Like, you're not going to find a gallon camping jug of it at CVS. Like, you got to think outside the box of where you would normally get this kind of stuff.
Right.
Home Depot's, Lowe's, stuff like that. I feel like Amazon still, I don't know. I haven't had to order one through this quarantine because right before all this shit went down, I had ordered one and I get like the 5 gallons or whatever, but it comes in quarts, so it's just a case of fucking quart bottles.
Oh, that's nice.
And so I still have like a few left, so I haven't had to go out and find more. But if I've had to,
a couple of times.
I'd probably just go to work because we got 55-gallon barrels of this shit. So I'll just be like, you're not gonna miss a couple liters, thanks.
Right.
But yeah, if
obviously
if you don't work at a facility that has this stuff, check out your hardware stores, Ace, Home Depot, Lowe's, stuff like that, and definitely check out Lowe's because we got a little investment in their stock. Not us, but like this group that I'm doing. We have a little position in Lowe's, so if you could go to Lowe's and get your ISO.
Plug. God, that was shameless. That was absolutely shameless.
I just have to say that because Dad's is in here. No, Home Depot's was the racist. Lowe's was good.
Still defending it hard.
You can also use like denatured methanol, stuff like that. Just know that if you're cleaning your rigs with that stuff, like make sure you wash it out with water afterwards. Don't just let it evaporate because it may leave a film behind, and you don't want to be inhaling any of that shit. But it will clean your rigs.
Yeah, maybe. What
and
else?
So will acetone. Like acetone will work really well to clean your rigs. You just have to be careful because not all like linoleum floors will handle acetone being on them, and you might melt a little bit of your like any plastics or rubbers. Acetone's real aggressive, but it's really good at cleaning oil and flour resin out of bongs and rigs because it is so aggressive. You don't want to get on a plastic unless it's the plastic that it came in. Sometimes you'll get buckets of acetone and it comes in plastic, but it's not plastic. It's like some sort of polyurethane mold mix or something. I don't know exactly what they store it in, but definitely keep it away from any plastics you have in your house because they're
Where would you dump it? Could you dump it in the sink with enough water to dilute it?
No, do not. Especially if you have
dump that safely, Matt.
You can let it evaporate outside on some gravel or something. Like it'll kill grass and shit more than ISO will.
So the moral of that story is do not pour that down your drain.
Don't put it down.
Of that.
Don't put it down.
Acetone or methanol.
Yeah, methanol's not as bad, but I try not to dump any of that shit down the drain because it has oil in it. And like the more you do that, eventually you're going to clog up your shit. And if you rent like we do, you definitely don't want the rental agency to come and see that you've clogged up your shit because of oil from your bongs.
I have a piece of wood outside that I dump all my ISO and stuff on that I let evaporate.
Yeah, that's
So don't
perfect.
if you are dumping anything down the drain, please stop. It's not really exactly safe, especially
I
if
mean,
it's
like,
fresh ISO or anything. It's going to be extremely flammable, and that's how lab accidents happen.
If I do it, I will run hot water because the heat will help evaporate it, and I'll just run hot water down the drain, and then I will just slowly put it in, and then I know that's all. But I will never do that if there's been like oil in it, because that shit, as soon as it evaporates, the oil's just there, and it gunks up your
it's going to be sticky as hell, and you're going to have a clogged drain forever.
Especially once other stuff gets in there and just like gets mashed into the oil.
Hair
and
just,
oh god, so gross. Let's see. Oh, Vinter brought this up in the chat. I thought it was kind of interesting. Some D10 crystallization, and I don't find the crystallization so interesting as I find the way that these people like stumbled upon it, because a lot of people in the industry have accidentally stumbled upon making D10, especially if you do distillations and shit.
What is it?
But no, it's just another cannabinoid. So you have your Delta 8, right? You have Delta 9, you have Delta 10. I assume there's a Delta 7 and also a Delta 11.
I was going to say, what about 1 through 7?
Yes, I'm sure those are also things.
Just fuck those ones.
But
8 and 9 are better.
This lab, like, I guess they bought a bunch of weed that had been sprayed with fire retardant or something, which, like, my first question is, why are you guys buying such awful weed to begin with? Like, that right off the bat to me seemed really suspect. It says that California cannabis company Fusion Farms purchased some outdoor-grown cannabis to get their extraction business off the ground. At the time, some wildfires raged in California, scorching the earth, communities, and small plots of cannabis plants. Aerial firefighters dropped fire retardants, which winds help migrate away from intended targets and onto the outdoor crops like weed. Although unaware at the time, okay, so they didn't know at the time. Have you ever been around flame retardant stuff? I feel like if you had weed that
you would know.
Had it on, I mean, maybe not. I like to think that I would know. That, like,
unless
hey,
you're a careless ass fucking grower.
This is extra frosty, you guys. Like, what's up?
Dude, it's like a foam on it.
That's FOMO G, baby.
That's all that THC.
Although unaware at the time, Fusion Farms had purchased cannabis biomass contaminated with the fire retardant at their processing facility after extracting the biomass and distilling the extract to remove any non-volatile fire retardant components. See, so they knew, like, you're doing a distillation to specifically do that. And I don't know if this is actually them or if this is just how the writer of the article wrote it. Like, you never really know who said what in this kind of case, but if you're like, I have to distill this extract to remove the non-volatile fire retardant components, like, oh, okay, or just put it in the trash where it belongs. I understand you're trying to get your business off the ground, but coming to market with flame retardant terps, probably not the best move.
Eastern Dank says open blast fire extinguisher.
Yeah, I just like to spray the fire extinguisher right into my tube, pre-soak, and then I'll pop the cans in.
Pre-soak.
You gotta pre-soak it in.
That's disgusting.
So they were doing this distillation. They noticed unusual crystals forming in the distillate. What was this? The crystals couldn't have been THCA because obviously when you're doing distillation, like, the oil is already decarbed, so there's no THCA in it. If there is, it fucks up your distillation when you're actually running the material. So if you're doing distillations, it's always THC. It's never THCA.
Or CBD,
or CBD, yeah.
Can't CBD be turned into THC?
Yeah, I'm sure there's ways to turn cannabinoids into other cannabinoids, doing reactions and shit. You can turn CBD into CBDA and probably CBN also.
Oh, really?
And CBC.
Could you turn THC back into THCA?
Can you? Yeah, I'm sure you can recarboxylate. I don't know if that's the right word. That's a good question to ask Wolverine Dabs. Can you take this THC?
He would know that?
Well, yeah, they're like scientists and shit. I mean, they're not PhDs as he said on the show, but like, I feel
He
like
does the shit.
if anyone knows, they would be the cats to ask.
Right.
So I have this THC I would like to turn into crystals, THCAs. You just add the A back on for me.
just add that A back in
I have
somehow.
a handful of A's and I have a handful of THCs, and I need some science to happen here. But yeah, they said it couldn't be THCA, which isn't present after high temperature distillation, and they didn't look like any other cannabinoid crystal structure the team had encountered. So through repeated recrystallization, they purified the solid and began instrumental analysis to identify the unknown crystals. So that's pretty cool. You're taking this crystal that they made, and then they're recrystallizing it over and over again, because every time you do that, you're removing some of the impurities to it. And
Right.
so
That's how you
do
actually
that
purify things.
Yeah, and that's how, like, if in the market you see THCA and they're like yellow versus like the clear rocks, that's just basically non-recrystallized versus recrystallized. And if yellow rocks and non-recrystallized rocks sell, it's better to just sell them, because obviously you're spending more time, more resources into every recrystallization. So
Right.
it takes away from your bottom line.
But you get a pure product.
But you get a pure product. But I don't know if anyone cares at that
And
point.
to be
I
clear,
don't know.
we're not talking about crack.
No, THCA.
Anybody just joining us, not crack.
THCA. That's what I said.
It's weed crack, but not real crack.
So yeah, then they used HPLC. They found a peak that closely aligned with CBC, but wasn't an exact match, which I don't know, could be their process protocol. It could just not be CBC. Then with the help of a licensed testing facility, they got more HPLC data, compared it with everything, but there was no match found, which is weird because I'm pretty sure there's standards on D10 now. Maybe their labs didn't have them, but I'm pretty sure they exist. And then they did an NMR, which is basically just like modeling it using lasers, magnetic resonance.
Sharks with lasers.
Sharks with freaking lasers. So they did the NMR spectroscopy, which is a powerful analytical method for determining chemical structures. And they say if you have purified the substance, NMR allows you to see the structure of a molecule. So that's pretty cool.
See the molecule,
I
man.
see it in my hand, man.
You see the molecules. That's funny.
Yeah. He
So
says,
they actually kind of build it with lasers?
kind of like an MRI, I guess, is a better way, not lasers. That was wrong, but I think an MRI because it's using magnets.
It's all lasers, man.
It's using magnets, bro. And how the fuck do magnets work? I have no
Magnets. That's just magic,
I have
man.
no idea.
Just magic.
But yeah, so then they analyzed it, and the spectral data indicated delta 10 THC. So
Huh.
good. You bought mids and you made something you spent a lot more money trying to figure out what it was than you'll ever get for actually selling it. How is Fusion Farms doing? Did you ever get that lab off the ground, or I'm just curious. But yeah, so I don't want to get into like the rest of this because we got some other stuff to talk about, but if you're interested in it, we'll put a link in the show notes at hotbox.earth, and obviously you can read it here in the Discord chat. But it just goes on for them like trying to reverse engineer it and figure out how to make it and all that. It's like, well, just keep lighting forests on fire and growing weed near them. I don't know what else to tell you.
Sounds like you're trying to make Morel mushrooms or something.
Yeah, right? We made Morels and Delta 10. One of these things is worth money.
A little bit of DMT.
One of these things, not so much.
Well, what do we got next?
Let's see. We can talk about Louisiana here. This is kind of interesting. They have a new law, and I know a couple of cats that are in the chat are there or still kind of keep in touch with people there. But I saw
Louisiana, you know.
I saw some stuff in the chat about like not being able to smoke. Like, they're banning a bunch of stuff.
I've actually heard of this. When I went on my honeymoon to to New York. We went on a cruise, and in New York they had the same law. It was you can't like physically smoke marijuana, but you can vaporize it or eat it.
What about tobacco? Can you still smoke that, or?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just a weed thing.
You can only dab or eat, pretty much, or in like one of those portable cartridges pens, you know. So it's pretty much you could either use concentrate or eat, and you can't just smoke regular flower, which was the dumbest thing ever. It made 0 sense.
Like, does anybody know, like, what their rationale for that was, or they just didn't like the smell of weed, probably?
Oh, I'm not sure, but apparently in Louisiana, all inhalation is illegal, so it's only edibles.
Because they don't want to have to test between CBD and THC, is what Venter is saying in the chat.
Huh.
That's pretty whack. Like, our labs are just, I can't be bothered to get another set of standards. Like, it's either one or the other. I'm not doing both.
I don't I don't care to do it. Just make it so they don't smoke it. I don't care.
That's so crazy. So now, like, you guys just can't smoke it. And, like, over here, like, in our little facility, we have a testing lab in our little spot that, like, can do that. Like, I don't see why your whole state can't do that. It's so crazy.
So can you buy flour to make edibles, or do you have to buy it like pre-made into butter, or do you have to buy the pre-made edibles? Can you not get like any kind of flour at all?
Oh, like, does it even exist? Because the temptation is too strong.
So it might have to be pre-made, Vince says.
That's crazy. The article here off of insurancejournal.com says that more Louisiana residents will have access to medical marijuana under a significant expansion of the state's therapeutic cannabis program that was signed into law by Governor Edwards. The changes in the law, which take effect in August, allow doctors to recommend medical marijuana for any patient they believe it would help and remove restrictions on which doctors can recommend cannabis.
Oh, that's nice.
This is House Bill 819. So they're passing this, but at the same time, they're like down on the hemp. That's
right.
So
what's going on there?
Or that's I see. That's Iowa.
Oh,
the one that he posted. But Iowa's doing the same as what Louisiana is doing.
Oh, really?
They say under 2015 law and additional changes passed since then, Louisiana allowed cannabis to treat a long list of diseases and disorders, including cancer, seizure disorders, epilepsy, glaucoma, post-traumatic stress disorder, and Parkinson's. The new legislation expands that to include any condition that a doctor, quote, considers debilitating to an individual patient. In addition...
So does that mean that a doctor can say you need to smoke weed so then you can smoke weed?
You need to smoke weed so you can smoke weed? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Does that what that mean? A doctor can say you can actually smoke it. So
I see what you're saying. Right. Yeah, that would make more sense. But doctors don't really tend to be down with smoking anything. Just from a health standpoint, they're like edibles are much more healthy for you than smoking. It doesn't not that you're just smoking weed, just smoking in general, anything is not good for your lungs.
Right. Well, like, say for me, like, where edibles don't affect me, how would I medicate?
In your butt, I would assume.
Boofing? Just straight up boofing. Get the enemas and then dab the enema.
I smoke 2 joints in the morning, and then I put 2 up my butt. And then I smoke 2 more.
2 joints in the afternoon, and then I feel alright. I put it up my butt, and then I feel it in my thighs.
Damn, you're a songwriter too. Not only are you a good ad copywriter.
A good ad copywriter, damn. I mean, they were all right, were they not, guys? Did they sound like ads?
They're not bad. Dab Dad says, I've never met an edibles don't affect me in person in real life. That wasn't even a sentence, bro. But good
I'm
on you.
with him. I'm with him on that one.
I've never
that.
Yes.
Whatever he just said, yes. Let's go with that.
Only the agricultural centers in Louisiana State University and Southern University are authorized to grow cannabis in Louisiana, and only 9 dispensaries can provide it to patients. LSU's grower has been selling products since August, while Southern's grower has not yet started its sales.
How is that not almost like a freaking monopoly? Because in the
well-
entire state, 9, there might as well just be 1 in the entire goddamn state. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the play, right? You can't smoke it, but the government has a couple of extract artists we would love to recommend for you that just extract all the weed for the whole fucking state. That's pretty sweet, huh?
Jesus.
Marijuana can be available in oils, pills, liquids, topical applications, and in an inhaler, like you would use for asthma, but not in smokable form. LSU's grower currently offers cannabis in a flavored liquid tincture, a bottle containing a dropper to use, but the company has said it intends to expand that to also include dissolving strips taken by the butt. I mean, by the mouth.
Oh my god.
You can probably put a dissolving strip in your butt, though. I'm willing.
It will probably work. Don't
willing
quote
to
us, but it'll probably work.
Willing to bet, yes.
I'm willing to bet. Oh my god. Do you think 482 pounds worth would work up your butt?
That's a lot of weight.
That is a lot of weight.
I'm
It
not-
also got seized in Birmingham. It's worth 3.2 million apparently.
Search
It is a lot
and
of marijuana.
seizures.
Officers got it. You want to talk a little bit about it? In
It's just
California,
like-
a man faces several charges after a big drug bust and an extensive investigation by Birmingham police narcotic detectives.
So this was a California dude trying to go make his rent over in Alabama.
Trying to make some rent.
Because I bought this for $6,400. Sour Wave said 64 was the new low, so that's what I paid for it. Obviously, I'm not going to get that anywhere around here. So where are you going to go? Alabama. Fuck it.
Officers say on April 16th, 2020, the BPD's narcotic division, along with Narcotics K-9, completed an investigation that yielded 482 pounds of marijuana, 7,659 grams of liquid THC, 173 edible candy packs, and $9,000 cash. The street value of the drugs is $3.29 million for the marijuana and $300,000 for the THC candy, which that's kind of debatable. Can we do some quick math on that?
Who's got the stoner math? That seems a little high, even at 64 a p.
Okay, so how many pieces of candy did he? He had 64 pounds. No, 482. 482 divided by we have to take the fucking 3 million, don't we?
Just make the math easy. What's 482 times 5,000? Because that'll give you just a good rough estimate of what the weed weight itself was. And then you can say,
2.4.
let's say like $15 a gram on the liquid. So that's what's 7,659 times 15. And then let's see, we got
114.
Okay, keep that in mind. And then we have 173 candy packs. Those probably go for like 25 a pop. What's 173 times 25?
That's 4,325.
Okay, and then we also had $9,000 in cash, which we might as well just lump that in with the street value of the drugs. So add that
That's
all up.
nowhere near that. That's like half of what they said it was.
Interesting.
That's like half.
How are your prices? Good fucking god.
It's because like the weed alone was only like 2 million.
Well, and then
And
the
then
weed
it was
was
114,000 for the edibles, for the candy, and then
the weed was in the car, so we're gonna have to weigh the car.
that's
Dad's
at least another 1,000 pounds.
at least. Dad says custied for real.
Disgusting.
DIY Dab says cops go by MSRP. What's the sticker on that ticket looking like? Oh my god.
Then it says Alabama, bro. That weed is not 5K a pound. It says
Damn.
1,000.
No, but it came from California, so it's like
It is 5K.
800. It's like 500. It's probably already been extracted, so it's like we'll say 50 a pound.
Dude, that's so high. Like that's like the highest price I've ever heard. That's like what, almost $6,000 a pound or
But
something.
listen, like think about it before any of this stuff. Like when they would do a bust and say what it was worth, nobody had anything to
Any
like
idea.
double check that on. They're like, oh, okay, 5 mil, cool. And now it's like we have a weed podcast. We can actually run the numbers. And fam, your numbers aren't adding up. Looking a little light here. A little light in
You
my
wanna know-
hand.
You want to know how much they put the flour at per pound?
How much?
$6,830 a pound
Damn.
for 3.292 million.
That's
divided
crazy.
by 482.
That's crazy.
$6,830 a pound. That's a
y'all are
lot
crazy.
of money for a pound.
All the
That's
way
like-
up. Yep.
That's like double of an expensive pound. Oh my god.
$25 a gram all the way up.
More like
damn.
$40 a gram all the way up.
Fuck yeah. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Who are our boosters this week?
Our boosters for the week, we have Ace of Spades. Thank you very much. Deja Vu, thank you. Diamond, thank you. Eastern Dank, thank you. Milk Mother, thank you. Old Bear, thank you. And Mr. Swag Rat. Thank you all very much for boosting our server and making us better. We need a few more to get back up to 3, though, so let's go ahead and keep trying. I think in our next giveaway, we might put boosters back in there and give you guys another little boost, shall we say, in the
Now,
giveaway.
if someone asks, is it better to just donate to the PayPal or to boost the server?
I think donating to the PayPal actually might be better at this point, so we can fund more giveaways. As I think once we get verified through Discord and we connect the Reddit, that we are going to get our own URL and have the level 3 perks anyway, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so then you won't even need boosts at all, and then we can just focus on the PayPal and getting some more cool giveaways going and shit like that.
Well, that's not to say we don't need boosts at all, because all of the
okay.
boosters get to see a lot of cool things happen.
Oh, okay,
Like,
I gotcha.
all the boosters got to see me take my 1 gram dab live.
Right, the VIP channel that may or
The
may not
VIP
exist.
channel that we have. There's also a chat channel that all the VIPs get for server
Yeah.
boosting. And I also have my big reclaim dab coming up. If I believe it was Eastern Dank said he was going to buy me that banger.
The ounce reclaim dab.
I mean, this is getting pretty hefty now.
I might have to drive to where you're at to see that one in person.
I mean, if I get the banger, or if I don't know, if you guys show me enough support, I will do it for all the VIPs live, and we will premiere it on next episode. You guys let me know if you want to see it.
Let's order that bitch. Eastern Dank says, hell yeah. And if you're wondering, if you're in the Discord chat, upper left-hand corner, you'll see the thing that says RDABs. And if you just click that, you can hit server boost. Click that, and it will let you know exactly how to get into that. So,
And then you can get all
Check
those
it out.
perks.
hell yeah.
And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. You can find us on hotbox.earth, iTunes, podcast, all of that fun stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, we're on Spotify now. We're on
Absolutely.
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. So check that out, hotbox.earth, like you said. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good week. Stay safe out there.
See y'all later. We'll see you in the other channel to take a dab with you, y'all. See ya.